What's poppin', everybody? It's a Sabro 54. This is a pretty good topic, I think, for the Battle Frontier in Emerald. Not necessarily Platinum, but I think you could probably do this shit in Platinum as well. But basically is the idea of, do you need to cheat? And when I say cheat, I don't necessarily mean using Pokemon with like 999 in all stats with an action replay or whatever and just beating the Battle Frontier, that way. When I say cheating, I mean doing tricks with the frames and like other methods on the computer. Like, I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I am aware of Tamahiro's Battle Frontier Battle Factory video where she did some tricks where you're supposed to do some things with the frames to increase your chances of getting good Pokemon in the Battle Factory. And this is something you can do to modify the chances to activate the Mirage Island, make the Mirage Island appear, that sort of thing. I think you can do this, and if you do this trick, you can make shinies appear too. Like if you adjust the frames, this is how shiny Pokemon appear in the game, and just doing this sort of tech savvy stuff. My easy answer would be, of course, no, because I got all the gold symbols and I didn't do any of that stuff. And I also didn't even like back in the day when I was getting the gold symbols, because I've been trying to get them for years. I haven't been playing Emerald every day trying to get them, but sometimes on and off, play Pokemon Emerald to until eventually I got all of them. But I've been doing this for many, many years, like even before I went to university. Obviously I got the silver symbols very early when I was a young kid, and then the gold symbols when I was much older, knowing about IVs, NEVs, and stuff like that. But basically, back when I was trying to get the gold symbols, I wasn't even aware, and I didn't even know. I don't even think maybe it was on Bulbapedia and stuff, but like all of the trainers and all of the possible Pokemon and their sets, basically, you can find them in Bulbapedia. You can find them online. I didn't even do that. Like, try and know what every trainer, what every Pokemon does, and what's their exact set, the moves, EVs, the item they're holding, that sort of thing. I mean, I did sort of learn, and you have to do that if you want to skillfully not lose. If you want to not lose and really just display your skill, this is part of the skill in the Battle Frontier. Just know what the possibilities are when your foe's Pokemon, basically. Like if you're fighting a Golem, okay, what can Golem do? It can possibly do Earthquake, Rock Slide. These are all the possible moves it could do, and this is how this guy could hurt me. So this is my odds are better. I should switch, or maybe I should stick it out. That sort of thing. Knowing when to switch, knowing when to make a move, knowing when to, okay, let me not use a setup move because it's much riskier in this instance. That kind of thing. Just knowing all the possibilities of all the Pokemon, what every Pokemon can do, basically, in the gen they're in, Gen 3 in this case. So I was very adept in that regard, like learned what all the Pokemon can do. And if I would have any doubt, maybe I would open like Cerebi and check their moves. But I was never aware, and I never played the Battle Frontier knowing every trainer and every possible Pokemon and sets they got. So once again, you don't even got to do that. Never mind trying to cheat with setting frames and stuff like that. Now, I guess if you really can't do it, or if you want to give yourself a little edge, I mean, Tamahiro did do it and posted a video about it too. I mean, to each his own, but I would have more respect to somebody that just does this the conventional way, like on the original hardware, and you don't do any of these frame shit, whatever. There was like another YouTuber that did like a video as well, just going through the entire Battle Frontier with Pokemon that are obviously, hacked, not illegal, but just maxing out their RVs. Latios, Metagross, Swampert. Still found some difficulty, which goes to show you how the Battle Frontier is a really tough thing to do. But I don't find that the same as just trying to do things, the old-fashioned way on official hardware. Just training your Pokemon, hatching your Pokemon, and just beating the odds, even if you don't have fully perfect IV'd Pokemon. But it is possible, and speaking of IVs, I've said this in my other videos as well. Unless you cheat, you're not going to get perfect IVs on your Pokemon. And it does suck when you're using a legendary. Like I used Zapdos a lot, had a lot of my success using Zapdos in the Battle Frontier. And it does suck when, your own Zapdos isn't going to have perfect IVs. And if an opponent uses a Zapdos like in the high streak tiers in the battle tower, let's say in Emerald, their Zapdos would have perfect IVs. It is a bit unfair, but it is part of the challenge too, in a way. Like at the end of the day, it is the computer, and you're a person. So with a little bit of luck, or a lot of luck, with the right balanced team, the right items, and just having skill and understanding of all the possibilities and what you should do and what you should avoid doing in the Battle Frontier, then you can find success and get all the gold symbols like I did. Even with the IV drawbacks, like you're not going to have perfect IVs. The other thing that I want to say about doing the thing with you set up the frames and adjust shit like that, I don't know. I don't know what Tamahiro did and what other people do, but you do something, I guess, to adjust the game. Maybe you don't have the patience, you really just tried a bunch of times and you just couldn't do it, you can't stand it anymore, and then you do that sort of a frame cheating thing, whatever. But it probably is the fact that you actually are making some misplays and not really understanding what your mistakes were. Because unless you're really unlucky with status hacks and critical hits, like taking two critical hits in a row, or some shit like that, or even worse, your opponent doing something like horn drill 2 times in a row, going first and not missing, then okay, it's not really much shit you can do about that. But unless you really just have that super horrible, horrendous, very bad luck, a lot of the times it is going to be your fault and you're missing something. You seriously made the wrong play. It's kind of like a chess game. In chess, no matter what skill level you or your opponent is, the player that's going to win is the player that loses actually is the one that made the most mistakes, or maybe made that one fatal mistake that you couldn't make, that just lost you the game. When two top level players play, it's just that one mistake. Like maybe no player made a mistake, and then that one player finally made a small or just one mistake, and then the other person won. So it's kind of like that with the Battle Frontier, with these 3 versus 3 battles, or 2 versus 2 in some cases, in the Battle Dome. There's just very, very little margin for error, just razor thin. One little mistake, I mean, if there's not any critical hits or bad status luck, that one little mistake could cost you the game. So you have to make sure, knowing, okay, this is how the Battle Frontier goes, how the rules go, what the risk is, what Pokemon are being used. I mean, especially if you can check on Bulbapedia and see all the possible Pokemon and sets. I didn't even do that once, getting my gold symbols. And you can say I'm patting myself on the back, but yeah, I'm going to be proud of my achievement. But knowing all of the possibilities, you can say, okay, this is what I have to do, and this is what I have to avoid to give myself the best chance to win. So, for example, some people just try and just stall their way and just put themselves in position to increase the chance of their opponent getting a critical hit, stuff like that, or just trying to use strategies that are pretty much quite risky in a 3 versus 3 format, where if you're playing like a 6 versus 6 smoke on battle, I mean, if it goes wrong, you lost the battle, okay, but when you're trying to get multiple streaks, like a lot of streaks to make it to the Frontier Brain for the gold symbol, you can't have that high risk factor. You got to mitigate luck as much as you can, and there's things that you just can't possibly try if you want to be serious. Now, I guess if you do have a way to adjust your IVs, like with a Game Shark or an Action Replay or something, which by the way, those are extremely expensive for these old like GBA games, like even the DS games, these little products are actually quite expensive now. But if you do have a way to adjust your IVs and make them perfect, for example, like get yourself a perfect IV Salamence or something, I wouldn't consider that cheating. Like if you want to make sure, okay, just have all of your Pokemon have perfect IVs if they're legal, because I think I could be mistaken in this, but I think some legendaries aren't supposed to have perfect IVs. But I think those are only like event Pokemon like Jirachi and stuff, which you can't use anyway. Those they can't have maybe perfect IVs legally. Some Pokemon like the Latis and the legendary dogs can have perfect IVs when you catch them in Ruby Sapphire and Fire and Leaf Green, but the Latis in Emerald can have perfect IVs legally. It's just that you're never going to be able to get them no matter how many times you catch them. It's just very difficult. A viewer told me before that, or a commenter, that you can get the legendary dogs with perfect IVs or just good IVs at the very least in the GameCube games, Colosseum and XD Gala Darkness. So I guess that's a thing I didn't know. So I'm saying it now. But if you would adjust your IVs so that you don't have to hatch eggs and just try and get good IVs, with hard work, I wouldn't consider that cheating because, to be honest, in the Gen 4 games where I do have an action replay, I did use the action replay to adjust, not in Platinum and Heart Gold, but in my Pearl. Like I used it on my Pearl to adjust IVs for things like a Zelf and other Pokemon, well, all of my Pokemon basically, to have perfect IVs. So I'm good in that. I didn't do that in Emerald because I couldn't. But I wouldn't say that's cheating because, the Pokemon in the Battle Frontier are going to have perfect IVs anyway, so it's in your legal parameters, I guess, to also have perfect Pokemon. But that's sort of a frame thing, adjusting Mirage Island, trying to do shit to find shinies, and I guess doing shit in the Battle Frontier as well. I do think that's cheating, and it isn't necessary if you want to get the gold symbols. You don't have to go to that length, I guess, unless you want to make it easier to yourself. And the clone glitch, of course, in Emerald, I don't consider that cheating either. Getting extra leftovers or getting extra like PP maxes, PP ups, that sort of thing. You can't use more than the two of the same item in the Battle Frontier. Once again, it's not like a smoke on 6 versus 6, but it is a good way to clone things like Master Ball so you can soft reset and catch legendaries much easier. That's a much easier way to soft reset for legendaries if you can just throw in the Master Ball. Eventually you will get some decent IVs and a good nature for that Pokemon. But things like Master Ball, things like PP Max, some TMs like Earthquake, of course, that's important. And other TMs you can only get once that are really good. I don't consider that cheating either. So I guess that's the video. You don't need to cheat to get the gold symbols in the Battle Frontier in Emerald, but it is going to be one hell of a challenge and a journey. And that's basically it. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Some of you might think it's cheating if you use action replay too and shit like that, but I mean, in a way it is. But like if you're just trying to do things fair and square, you want to give yourself the fair chance to use the same Pokemon with the same IVs your opponents are going to be using in the Battle Frontier, and you can't adjust their IVs, then fine. I didn't do it in Emerald because I didn't have the ability. If I did, I probably would have, but it's possible to get all the gold symbols even if you don't have a fully perfect Pokemon, as I've said many times. In DP, in Gen 4, I wouldn't say that's as possible, maybe, for some facilities, but I guess you never know. Trying to get 100 in the Battle Tower, in the DP, Platinum, and Hard Gold, man, you're definitely going to need perfect IVs for that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with your friends. Tell me what you guys think, what's cheating, or do you think it's impossible to get the Battle Frontier symbols without cheating? I mean, I'm proof that you can't do it. I did not cheat and got my gold symbols fair and square. You can see my battles in bad quality, just straight from the DS, recording with my camera. It ain't gonna be easy though. And do you think it is cheating to do the frames, PC shit, whatever the hell it is, to make yourself, I guess, get the best Pokemon in the Battle Factory, or just try and access Mirage Island that way, access Shinies that way? I don't know. Whatever you guys think. Zero 94 was I.